Fellas, how you guys feeling this morning?
Great.
You guys ready to do it again today?
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. I'm gonna need a full year to recover. I'll get 2 blocks in before next summer, and we can rock and roll again. What a freaking battle! Holy smokes! Didn't have that in my bingo card. The back and forth you guys had, absolutely phenomenal. Nonso, how's your body right now?
It's rough. I'm just very sore right now. Yeah.
Did you have any injuries?
Nah, nothing coming in. But as I pulled my last deadlift, I felt like my shoulder. It felt like it dislocated. I don't think it actually did, but it was rough. And then everything seized up, started cramping like crazy.
Like, I don't want to bury the lead. We'll go through the day and get to the deadlifts. Yeah. But you at one point were in the back, looked like you were checking out gonna get someone to take a look at your shoulder. And I asked, it might have been Peach, Jerns was there, and they said it got likely pulled out, but not fully out. But did your fingers totally lock up?
Yeah, completely.
So this is crazy. Your shoulder gets pulled out, but you can't drop the bar to alleviate gravity pulling it out because your fingers won't freaking unlock. So you're like, fuck, I can't let go of the bar, but it's pulling my shoulder out the socket. That's horrible. That's like a torture chamber or some shit. That's a nightmare, man. But anyways, we'll put a pin in that and revisit it. Going into the competition, Nonso, how did you feel?
I was confident. I felt obviously excited to compete, be on the best stage there was. I felt like I had it. I was confident going into it, but obviously they went how it did.
Big Dev?
Yeah, I mean, I was just as confident as these other two guys, and I knew I was up against the hardest competition I've ever done, but I could still see a path where I won, and I could see paths where everybody won. But I was obviously betting on myself, and I mean, a hell of a battle we had. I was not expecting that at all. And I mean, we'll go through everything, and there were so many variables, but. Unfortunate outcome for myself, but I mean, one of the best battles the 120s have maybe ever had.
How excited were you to make your appearance at IPF Worlds?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a dream come true. I've been taking this, hobby pretty serious for a while now, and then I make it to Germany for my first IPF Worlds, and it's like, not only do I get to IPF Worlds, but I have a legitimate shot at winning and being the best in the world and going to this pretty cool thing called Sheffield. So it's like. All the circumstances in my life that have been making things difficult, it's like I got to keep pushing through that because the opportunity that I have, I might not have for many more years. So, I mean, one of the most exciting opportunities I've ever had before. So I was trying to take full advantage of it.
And Etienne, how did you feel coming into the competition?
I felt confident, well known that the battle will be harsh, but we went through it all. We did all the lifts, we did all the attempts, and it was good.
So you guys show up, everybody's in the back room, McDonald's there, and I didn't catch the pun until like deadlifts, where his singlet is a burger, and it's a McDonald's burger. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, they call him Burger Boy in Trinidad.
Oh, really?
I knew Burger Boy. I didn't realize it was McDonald's. That makes sense now.
It all makes sense, and it's literally single. He's a giant burger. He's hilarious. You guys obviously probably didn't see him on the platform, but his energy and everything was phenomenal. The show you guys put on. How did it feel back there? Because I know previous sessions they were saying it was hot. Now, the jump between 105s are big, to 120s, it's a big jump. You guys are a lot bigger, and back there it gets only tighter, only harder, and legitimately, even outside got harder and harder and harder as the week went. Timing was going to make this extremely difficult. The 105s, the 93s, all the totals came down. Well, not the 105s, but the 93s. The totals significantly came down. For most of the 105s, the totals came down, not for the winner. But how did you guys feel back there? How hot was it when you're warming up? Maybe I'll kick it to you first. Were you telling yourself this is going to be PR days, etc., or are you telling yourself this could be whomever can just get their lifts in and it's not going to be about PRs?
I think, regardless of the heat or not, I kind of knew, I wouldn't call it a childish mentality, but that mentality, you can come here, PR, do what you want and win. I knew that wasn't going to like go out like that. I knew it was whoever can make the most lifts, whoever can execute the best, and however the day goes, like, will win. The heat, yeah, I definitely felt it when I was in the back rooms. Like, that's probably one of the the hottest competition I've been in. So I was just trying to do everything I could to stay hydrated, towel overhead. There was no fans, but literally just trying to stay cool, stay calm.
Big Dev?
Yeah, I mean, I knew the heat would be a factor, but I still thought we could be pretty close to our top end at least. And I thought, the totals would go down a little bit just from how competitive we all were. But I mean, obviously they dropped pretty significantly. And I did my best to stay hydrated, but I got I think 3 gallons of liquid through me, which is 6-7 liters of water.
That's crazy.
And I was still like my coach was worried about how much I was sweating, and I had a little fan near me too, so I had the better spot, and it still affected us all pretty bad.
Like you were cutting weight all over again.
Bro, I mean, I weighed in quote unquote light. I tried to weigh in at 0.9, just right under, and I was a full pound under just from sweating getting to the venue. So
now my man is from Lebanon. How was the heat for you? You were wearing a jacket. You had gloves on. It was so chilly back there for you.
I mean, for us Lebanese, it's kind of normal in this heat. Usually it's more dry for us. But I don't think the heat did really touch my total or my top end or anything. It was just the attempt. That was it, all the stress. But it was good, I stayed hydrated. I did my job. Yeah. It was regular,
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, and that's why when Worlds rolls around, different host nations, it's different variables. We might be in the Middle East. Is it Saudi Arabia, Ramsey? Dubai, or China. But you never know. That's a big difference in terms of how is the warm-up room going to be. And this is where you gentlemen now might behoove you to, amongst your prep and recomp, bring a little fan, bring whatever the heck, right? Because if it's in Dubai, it could be a whole nother level of hot for the big fellas. All right, let's walk through the squats. Big Dev, maybe we start with you, kind sir. How are your squats feeling? Your squats came down a little bit. I spoke to you in the warm-up room. You anticipated losing a little ground on squats. Was this previous injuries, or the injuries took away too many training blocks to catch up? How was it?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of everything. I've been complaining about this knee injury for the past 3 years, and it's annoying to still talk about, but it's still there. And I thought I was a little healthier coming into the competition than I actually was. I talked to you, and I was pretty confident that squat would be, 340 is my best. I was thinking on a bad day, 330. Obviously, pretty rough day with 325. So the knee just didn't come back like I wanted it to. I'm going to have to get this thing fixed up before I can make some progress again. But, I mean, with how everything shook out, when after my second attempt, 320 didn't move great. So the goal was to jump to at least 330. And the coaches were arguing between a 5 kilo jump and a 7.5 kilo jump. And I'm like, either of these jumps knocks me out of the race. So, what the hell are we talking about? And they ended up doing the lower end of the jump. And I was like, well, this fucking sucks. I'm out of the competition already, and it's only squats. And, I damn near missed my third attempt, I was halfway through, and I was like, all right, it's going up. So I think I got it. And then my legs just gave out for a moment, and I almost dipped a little bit.
Is that what it was? Because you were saying, yeah, I got this. And all of a sudden, whoa, never seen that before. Were you gentlemen watching these squats?
Yeah, I saw his.
I think
you saw it? Yeah.
I thought it's because you started going like that it shook you off.
Yeah,
I was
same.
pushing as hard as I could, and my legs just stopped giving me power at a moment. And
but that was a good attempt, though.
Yeah. A 7.5, I would have failed probably. So.
Damn. And do you think that was the knee?
I think it is, because in my brain, I'm like, all right, it hurts, but I can still push through it. But I think physically, I'm just pushing less, subconsciously, because it's pretty banged up. So.
So you actually think at this point in time, you're out of the race to, obviously you end up on the podium and whatever, but you think you're too far back unless these gentlemen start missing.
Yeah, but I mean, I did not expect either to miss, and obviously that didn't happen. But I thought even 330 would give me a pretty bad shot at podium, just because the deadlift on these guys. I mean, I projected pretty good PRs for both of them. So, I did the math in my head. I need at least this sort of squat. My bench has to show up. I got to pull a PR for myself too, just to give myself a shot. And then these guys both just get to snipe whatever I do. And it's like the odds of me putting a number up with two guys following me that pull 400 plus and them both missing are pretty freaking low. So I was pretty annoyed at the situation, and thankfully some things worked out for me where I kind of got back into the fight.
And of course, finishing off podium. We described the podium here, but James McDonald, and we literally could not fit James. If we tried to go top 5, that'd be ridiculous. But Team USA, we'll get to the end of the day, but they did a great job to get every kilo out of you to make sure you got onto podium. Temp selection became crucial. How about yourself in your squats?
About the squats, we came in really confident on the squat because in the prep after the injury that I got, we kind of pushed squats and bench. So it went pretty good. But I guess on the first attempt, my coach came and said, they red lighted in the middle, so you have to go a bit lower. And on the 340, I went a bit lower. It was not hard. It stuck up in a little bit in the middle. But I was confident that 350 was there. But under 350, I just went really down, really deep down. And I just couldn't push. The ball rolled on my back. And I said it was fine. Because we kind of did the math for both of them. And 340 was good. I almost had 20 kg gap on both of them. So we were good. We finished squad on a good day,
And that's confidence to be able to finish with a miss, but tell yourself we're okay still. Yeah. And you guys did an excellent job crunching the numbers, the math, your coaching staff, because you guys are picking the proper to push and pace yourselves well. But it was, as a viewer, and we're going to get to Nonso in a sec, the squats was a little wild. Your squat came down, scary third attempt, where it's oh my gosh. And then you regained it, and it's okay, I think all is well. Yourself missing a squat, and it's all right, this is a bit of a mixed bag. You didn't miss, but it wasn't maybe where you wanted to. Well, it wasn't where you wanted to be. You had missed one. Was it still enough? We know it was at the end, but at the time you don't know. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's oh shit, how is this going to go? And then there's Nonso. My man, let's talk about this.
Yeah, so I had my opener on warm-up run felt all right. Coming into the competition, I was quite confident in my squat that I'd hit a PB. Felt really good. Came into it, on my opener, did it, and then at the top of the lift, I just felt both my quads cramp. But I was okay, I've been here before. I've squatted through cramps in competition. I'm just going to have to make do. Came up for my second, was definitely a bit stickier than I wanted it to be, but I was I've got a third. I've got 10 more in me. Just stick with it, drink my water, and get back on there. And then third, I kind of went in, and I have a really bad tendency to sink my third too low. So I definitely sunk it, came up and hit a sticking point, and both quads were seizing, and I was gonna start grinding, and I felt just someone lift me up.
And his name was Jesus.
I wish it was.
And it was my grandfather. And I tell you, fellas, no, go on.
Yeah, so obviously they grabbed it, but then then they let go and then grabbed it again, and it was kind of this annoying situation. But obviously, I understand from a sports point of view, it's safety, and they have to stick with what they want to do in order to keep me safe, which I understand. And then we go back, and me and Matt kind of go, okay. They're giving us a second shot at this, and I was actually I'll do it, because in training before I've misgrooved and failed and dumped the bar over my head and come back literally 3-4 minutes later and hit it. So I was pretty confident I could come back, hit it, because I felt like I needed those kilos. I knew without it was still possible, but I wanted those kilos. But then Matt was obviously he's been doing this, I think he said 30 years, and in that time he's only ever seen one person reattempt and hit it. So I was at the end of the day, you're the coach, you make the call, but my input is I can hit this, but I'm gonna trust you at the end of the day.
So I've been doing this almost 10 years commentary, very low success rate to come back. Like I guarantee everything you said about in training in the gym, you're probably right. But the only difference is like Worlds, the intangibles, like the reason why you're cramping is the heat and the amount you're sweating as a bigger man. And so he's probably thinking, and rightfully so. So statistically speaking, not only is it very low that people actually come back and hit because you got 2 minutes, but then statistically speaking, if you miss your third squat, 67% of people miss their third deadlift. So then, yes, like Matt knows all the statistics. Yeah. And then in your unique case, you might miss 2 third squats, so to speak. And then Matt's like, we really need your third deadlift. So Matt is thinking, tough decision. Statistically, would say the right choice. If you're like a betting man, you're like, what are the odds? Okay, just, stay the game plan. So I know where he's come. Very difficult though. 20/20 hindsight. So now, obviously, you look back like, fuck, would I have needed those kilos? Might not have mattered. Might have. But anyways, very bizarre. I agree with you. Spotting is so difficult. And I talked to that spotter. He must have felt, because when you're a spotter, nobody notices you unless a mistake is made. Mm-hmm. And I briefly told him, I go, you all good? Like, it's not your fault, as in, I know what you're trying to do. It's for safety. He's like, I thought he was coming back down, and I had to jump in and help him out. Like, that's what you're trying to help the guy out. It's only to make sure everybody's okay. And I'm like, don't carry this with you. You're doing good all freaking week. Keep it moving. You make how many, catches, and they make great catches. Don't worry about it. It just happens to be freaking one of the, if it's the guy who's ranked 15th, nobody gives a shit, right? Except for the guy who's ranked 15th. And even he's just happy to be there, right?
To be fair, he did come and apologize to me after, which I was like, it's all good.
It's got to be god awful, right? You're like, I don't want to be a part of the story, right? But here we are. It is what it is. Yeah. Did you gentlemen see Muhammad live in that walkout and the comeback?
Yeah. So I saw his opener and I was like, I didn't know if he opened too heavy or what, but it just looked like it was like the shakiest lift I'd ever seen. And I was like, oh, like safety wise, I didn't even know if he'd like done anything. And then he come up for a second and did it. And I was like, okay, like what's going on there?
He walked his first one out. Like, he re-racked walked. I mean, this guy looked like he was in the middle of a freaking earthquake. The way he could not get his feet under him. It was the wildest. And then re-racked it and tried to come back again, and no different. And it was like, oh my God. And then in between his first and second, I'm like, I have to open up open powerlifting. Like, exactly where is his top end squat? Because it looked like he was way out of his league with that kind of weight. No, it would indicate this is within his league. He shouldn't have these kind of issues. Comes back, hits it, and apparently they dropped his rack height 2 holes from opener to second, hits it on his second, all as well. It's like, oh, that was just the inappropriate rack height. So
he's always been shaky on his walkouts, on the squats. Yeah, I remember last year he did, I think the first attempt was 360, then he put on 380, but they didn't give him the
down command?
Squat
command?
Depth. He didn't get the depth.
Really?
Yeah. He's always been shaky on his squats. You can see in the
But this is the wildest. Yeah, wow, man.
He goes down in the warm-up area, 330 kg without sleeves, without anything. Warms it up, put it back, then goes back to the stage, which is crazy.
That's probably why the spotter was so on edge with Nonso, because he just spotted that dude shaking the bar.
And here's another thing, man. And you guys are big fellas with big weights. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into the bench press. I think Big Dev, let's throw it to you, big man. Walk us through your bench.
Yeah, finally showed up. Stayed loyal. Bench prep was pretty good. Hit 270 in the gym. Everyone saw that. We were expecting the potential for a small PB. We didn't want to. 600. Everyone's saying 600. Probably not there on the day. It also wasn't really a part of the game plan. It's just kind of like an arbitrary number if you think about it. But felt good on the day. Warm-ups felt good. Kind of weird that the warm-up room equipment was not the platform equipment.
I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah, if we want to take the sport serious, we can't be doing stuff like that. For me, it doesn't really affect me, thankfully, because I have like a gym bro bench. I'm not real technical. But the bench pad was pretty bad in the warm-up room. Yeah. But the sky pad was nice. Everything went pretty according to plan. We went a little lighter just because of how squats were shaking out and everyone was kind of nerfed a little bit on everything. So took the world record attempt on the second just to secure that chip. Chip wasn't really too useful in this situation because these guys are both going to chip on deadlift. I did have body weight advantage, which was nice, but then came out for the third attempt. I think we jumped 4 kilos for the final bench there. And I think it moved pretty good. Maybe had like 5 more, maybe a little less than 5, something like that. But I heard through the grapevine that if there was any red light on my bench, the jury would have said it was a no lift.
Really?
They were saying my elbows were potentially soft. I saw the video back. It looks like every single one of my benches ever. I thought it was pretty good. They said at the start, yes. They said the start was soft, and then at the lockout, it was fine. But I was like, well, don't give me the start command if my elbows are soft. Make me fix my elbows. So that was a little worrying because thankfully I got 9 white lights on all 3 of my benches. But I guess I got to work on my soft elbows. But strength felt good.
I did not notice that in terms of your elbows, but it's good to at least get that so you know, like, I come back, I don't want, like, at least I know, international period, you're going to see them because you've done North Americans as well. Like, you got to, and if Sheffield or anything like that down the future, you need to know these things. Good feedback, but I didn't notice that. You're 100% right. When it comes to those round numbers like 600, it gets so easy to get caught up in that moment. Be like, I'm at the IPF Worlds. Do I load 6? But the round number isn't always the best number. You do 6 at like a local meet or nationals if you got a spread, which is difficult with U.S. nationals. There's always somebody who's good there. But I think you made the right call in terms of that, and I'm glad that the difference in equipment didn't affect you. After bench press, so squats weren't where you wanted it. Bench press around about was. How are you feeling after 6 lifts?
I mean, dude, what a hell of a battle we had. So my game plan really was watch Nonso, and if I can like outpace Nonso, chances are I'll outpace the other guys. I'm not sure that really worked out for me because I took a look at the board, and I think Joseph McDonald had me beat on subtotal. You were like 15 behind on subtotal. 18, and I was like, he can probably outpull me by 18. Mo was not too far behind on subtotal, and I was like, am I about to get like 6th place? I'm like, damn. So I'm just like, gotta lock in for pulls, man.
It was wild. After bench, once all you guys hit your opening dead, at one point, 5 lifters were separated by like, I can't remember exactly, but roughly here and there, 10 kilos.
Yeah.
In the 120s, 10 kilos is a bench attempt, let alone a squat or deadlift attempt. 10 kilos, 5 lifters. There was a traffic jam. There's only 3 spots on the podium. And yes, Mo Suleiman, Money Mo, at one point, he was pulling to be in first place, and all of you fellas had big deadlifts coming after him. And I said on the live, I mean, we'll get to deadlifts in a second. I said on the live stream, the success rate on third deadlifts is always pretty flippin' low. And the numbers some of you guys had was pretty flippin' high. You were in the 400s, you were in the 400s. If you guys missed, and you might have, most of you did, Mo would win the title. And he didn't get his third, somewhat controversially. They're saying he wasn't fully locked out. It was anybody's game. I say all this to say, it was so tight, it was anybody's game. Absolutely sensational battle, because as a viewer, that's what you want. You don't want to be like, I know what the ending of this movie is. This is like, no, I got to see this. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. Etienne, how was your bench press? How did it feel?
It was my best bench press competition so far, ever, actually. I've been stuck on 217 kg. I'm afraid of this number.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So we opened on 215 this year, which was a great attempt. Yeah, which was a great attempt. 215 was very easy. My elbows were fresh. I was warming up saying like, oh my God, I've never had these kind of elbows since I've started powerlifting, you know? So went on the bench on the first attempt. It was very light. Second attempt was almost lighter. And I put on the 232.5. We want something like, sure, because his bench was crazy. We were only afraid like of the gap of his subtotal. So 20 kg was a lot. So we had to have a big deadlift. But even though I had like 240 on this day, I'm happy with it. I'm happy. But at least we got it.
How was it that you went from 217 to 232 and a half?
I mean, I did in Romania 217.5. It was my total. It was my top end. But in Lithuania, on the first attempt, I had 217, which was very easy. I had it for 4 reps back in that prep. I remember on the first attempt, the 217, I don't know what happened, to be honest, but the judges just said, like, I didn't get the down command, even though when you take the bench, if they don't like your elbows, like they say, re-rack.
Yeah, let you know.
Yeah, they let me know, but they didn't. She just gave me the start command, so I went for it. After that, they gave me 2 white lights and 1 red, and they overruled it. Then this was the second attempt. The first attempt, it was very hard because it was like a 12-second start command. It took a while. So I got it on the third, or I would have been bombed out.
Yeah, I remember the dramatic.
That was it. That was just it. So we knew bench. If we add those extra kilos on the bench, I mean that's like 15 kg, 17.5 kg on the total alone. I've been adding squats and deadlift only. Like I didn't add on the bench on these 2 years, which is great.
So it sounds like that could have been your fortune. Came close. There was murmurs of it, but they don't like the elbows of the 120s apparently.
Yeah, but it's fine. But we fixed it. Like, I remember in the prep, like I was grabbing that bench, locking the elbows, and waiting like 12 seconds to start. So I was kind of making it hard for myself on the press command. I also waited like 5-6 seconds on each attempt. Even the 230, I've done it like 5 times, 6 times in the prep. Every time I waited myself like 10 seconds. Then on the press command, I waited like 10 seconds. I made it hard for myself just to make sure that I get it on the platform.
That's how champions are made, sir.
Yeah.
How about you for bench press, Nonso?
I kind of knew this is where I'd kind of fall behind in terms of numbers, but I actually went above what the plan was for that day. It's sad to say, but bench was probably the highlight of the day for me.
Who saw that coming?
I had good first attempt, good second, and then me and Matt kind of went, okay, the 210 felt better than I thought it would, and obviously I'd lost 10 on the squat, so can we pick up a little bit here? And then I was like, I'm good for 220, but Matt was like, okay, so we'll go 217, just to add a 2.5, play it safe. Obviously, we know your des is where you can add something, but got the third bench, felt good, had room in the tank, and I was kind of like, okay, we've started to catch up a little bit. Going out of bench, I was like, yeah, I can kind of turn this around, because historically for me, if I miss, well, I actually haven't missed a squat, but if squat doesn't go that well, bench usually disappears as well. But the fact I got my third bench and felt good, I was like, okay, I can kind of turn the meter around now. So leaving bench, I had a bit more confidence that I could pull myself into a position to win.
And looking at the totals here, let me ask you, gentlemen, how do you feel? You missed 1 squat, rallied on bench. You're thinking your strength levels are, where would you assess your strength levels after bench?
Decently high, because on bench I didn't cramp at all, so I thought I was gonna be good for what I thought I had. Like I had myself around 415 top end. So I was like, okay, like I'm back at that. Cramps have stopped. I'll kind of pull myself into where I need to. I don't really look at the numbers too much. I just kind of go, okay, whatever's on the bar, I have to lift it. So I was just kind of like, hopefully I've done enough to cover to just put myself in a good position.
And Big Dev, where do you estimate your strength levels are at? Like on the day, not looking back, but you haven't touched the deadlifts yet. How do you think you are?
Yeah, I was maybe being a little optimistic, and I was hoping that deadlifts would show up to their full potential after squat did not, and bench was pretty close to top end, but not quite there. And then seeing Nonso's bench, I was like dang, he could have benched 4 reds today, in the gym. When I saw you load 217, I was like, yes, he's gonna miss a third bench.
Really? Yeah.
And then you kind of smoked it, bro.
Yeah,
I was like,
I thought so too. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, man? Like, give me a break.
You two fellas, when he loads, look at each other like.
Yeah, we fist bump each other. Like,
It's because of the podcast.
Like you're holding water.
It's
like
on
that meme.
our podcast before. You guys are saying my bench is lacking.
Yeah, I know. He took that personally. He's man, fuck that. I know what I'm loading.
The goal was to outbench Nonso by 50 kilos. I thought that would save me on the deadlift. I think it ended up being like 47 or something like that. And I was just like nothing's going my way today, man. But moving into deadlifts, strength felt good, and in my head it felt good, and as we were warming up, it felt good. But it's just a little optimistic.
Let me ask you guys your impressions of Jason McDonald. So he doesn't Joseph. Sorry. Yes, thank you. So that's actually an MMA fighter, but Jason McDonald. But he doesn't post a lot. But the strength improvement he put in terms of kilos, by the time the subtotals were done and the deadlifts were about to start, and you add up his opening dead, he was right up in the mix. Was this a shock to you guys? It's difficult to anticipate because unless you're in Trinidad and Tobago, he's not giving a lot of data points. You might have heard rumors or murmurs about it, but how shocking was it? How tight of a race, even with Money Mo in there? But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, so I competed against him at NAPF actually. I was the open 120. He was a junior 120. So it wasn't head to head, but we were obviously kind of near each other. He ended up out totaling me there. I didn't go all out. I was just there to grab that bench record. But I saw him and I was like, if Rondell wasn't in Trinidad, this dude would be talked about a lot. And so I knew he was strong. And then I followed his training, and I knew he'd come into the world strong. But I was like, it's cool that he'll be here, but he's not going to be up here with the big dogs. And I mean, I was just wrong. He arguably was one of the strongest people on the day. Temp selection wasn't perfect, but yeah, very surprising with how strong he came in.
Yeah. You agree, Etienne? Were you guys looking at him like, what the heck?
I mean, we put everybody on the list when we're going to compete on worldwide, but Joseph was not on the list. But we knew that his bench could still get a good subtotal, so he was in the mix. But his deadlift was big. We didn't account for having this kind of deadlift because I think his last deadlift he posted was like 330, 340. I don't remember. So we were like, all right, it's fine. We can catch up. I know myself on the deadlifts. I'm pretty strong on the deadlift. I'm pretty confident. Never missed an attempt except the first one always.
We'll talk about that. That's great. But yeah.
Yeah, but my God, he's strong. Yeah, he's one of the strongest.
And how about yourself, Nonso, including Money Mo?
I don't think I gave Joseph enough flowers for how strong he'd be, but I knew that he, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Josh, was telling me that he peaks really well going into competition. So I knew there was a chance he was going to be like in the mix. I didn't expect it to be that big, but I kind of knew a little bit. Like we were on opposite racks in the warm-up room, and I could see him like dancing, having a good time. I was like, okay, for you to be doing that, you have to be doing quite well.
Yeah. You're not missing lifts.
And at a point, he was like in provisional first, and I was like, okay, like that's interesting. I didn't know that, so I didn't give him enough flowers. And then Mo as well. Mo definitely surprised me. His squat was like beast, 357. Like he smashed that, and I knew at I don't know if you saw our nationals, he had real bench issues. He nearly bombed out. It was similar to your issues. The start command they gave him, but then they gave him not good enough elbows. Yeah. So he fixed that, and then I was like, right, Mo can pull big as well. I was like, this is gonna be a competition. I literally said to Matt, like, this is one of the greatest battles I've ever been. Like, this is the greatest battle I've ever been in. I was like, okay, it's all gonna come down to deads, and I was excited. I was like, it's anyone's game.
And coming down to deads, historically speaking, you got a monster dead.
Yeah.
And you have no inclination in the warm-up room going into deads. Did cramping reemerge at this point, or?
So it did, but the thing with me is I take quite big jumps. So I only had 3 warm-ups in the warm-up room. 170, 270, 320. 170 was fine. 270, I cramped a little bit, but again, fine. 320, I cramped again, but it was fine. And then I asked Matt to just rub some aboniki on me, some like deep heat, to just kind of subdue it. Did my opener, cramps, but it was fine again.
Wait 1 sec. We'll put a pin. Okay. I'm going to go to your deads last.
Okay.
Big Dev, let's talk about your deadlifts. And you knew you were in a battle here, and it was going to be strategic attempt selection on this day with this field with Money Mo, Joseph, these two gentlemen, for you to leave with the medal. So let's walk through in your impressions after your last deadlift. Where you thought you would be with these guys pulling after you?
Yeah, so I was the lightest out of the big three here. So I opened pretty light because I knew I was going to take a pretty decent jump. And, you know, that made me feel like a little better about everyone else being like provisionally ahead of me. I was like, it's because I'm opening light. But then everyone else is like also taking these massive jumps. So I was just like, damn. So I opened real light, 330, jumped to 360, which is 30 kilo jump, decent jump. And I did that because my third attempt is really all that matters in this case when I got two guys who are going to snipe whatever they need. It's almost like being in the morning session versus like an evening session and going head to head. It's like I put my number up and it's like, all right, fellas, go ahead and go match it. A little nicer than that. But so on my second, I was like, cool. Unfortunately, Nonso and Etienne, their coaches did a smart thing of just going 2.5 above me on that. So like if I fail my third pull, immediately over, which is a lot of pressure on me.
Right.
But even more pressure is, all right, Dev, you have to think what they can pull. You have to find your absolute top end, and you have to hit it. And if you miss, you're essentially out of the race. So pulled 360. It felt really good, actually. I thought I had quite a bit left. And I was like, coaches, if you need me to do 20, I can do 20. And they were like, we're thinking more like 15. And I was like, all right, let's meet in the middle, and we'll go 17 kilo jump. And we did the math. I think that would force Nonso to pull like 408, maybe something like that, and Etienne like 405. And I was like, I think both of them got that, unfortunately. So we loaded that up, and I really thought I was going to have it, but it didn't. Like in my head, it was like, you're still going to lose. Like it's an awful feeling to go out to a pull and be like, this is going to suck. It's going to be hard. You'll probably get it, but you're still going to lose. So I guess maybe thankfully I didn't get it anyway. It got about halfway and just stopped moving, so I had to drop it. And at that point, I was like, I'm missing podium. Like the total just looks like garbage now. And I'll let the other guys go before we do the hindsight 2020 thing. But it would have been really nice if Nonso and Etienne pulled something stupid, 410, 405. Because then it's like, all right, Dev, you went out on your shield, you did what you had to do, and it just wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So 2020 hindsight makes me feel like, you could have really adjusted your attempt selection and had a much different placing. But, you can't beat yourself up with what you don't know.
To your point, well, first off, so at that moment, you didn't think you were even going to be podium with like Mo, McDonald. You're thinking, frick, I'm like fifth.
Yeah. I thought even 380 probably wouldn't get me podium. So I was like, I probably need 385, but that's just not there on the day.
Yeah, and you're 100% right. When you're the one who has to shoot first, you like, I mean, for sure, Nonso, Etienne, any given day, 400 kilos and up. I remember, not to bury the story, I'll get to you in a sec, but when you guys had 410, I said, that's not even a placeholder for Nonso. Like, you guys had 410 in there. Matt Gary put in 410 for Nonso, and it could be a play. Like, they moved it on the day, but if forced to, I was like, he probably could. Like, that might not be a bluff, you know?
Nonso earlier said he thought his top end was 415, and that's exactly what I was like.
Fair.
If I make him load 415, I'm okay if he hits it. So
Exactly.
anything less than that, I was like, he's going to hit it. So, like, I'm just essentially surrendering if I don't make him hit at least that.
What did you think, Etienne, and Team Lebanon? Let's walk through the deadlifts. First off, your first deadlift, when you missed it, there's a little bobble at the top, and you lean forward. Couldn't tell, but on the stream, you'll hear me be like, I hope he wasn't. It looked like you might have got injured. And then you gave the we're okay. And I thought you were giving the we're okay, like I'm not injured. And I'm like, sometimes it's just a brave face when something's wrong. You're like, we're all good. So let's walk through your deadlifts.
Well, it's not something new for us. The first attempt being red lighted or like wobbly at the end because it's fast. Like it's as fast as it is, it pulls me always forward. So after the attempt, like I went there, don't worry, just put the number you want. I'll get it off. Whatever number you put, I don't know what it is. I told them, don't tell me the number, just whatever on that bar, whatever it is, I'll pull it. I told him at the start of the deadlift because I knew like being 20 kg above, like him above us, Big Dev, and Nonso 10 kg, I think, if I'm not mistaken. We knew that on that day I have to do like 405 at that point, so Nonso will have to pull 415, and I mean we know Nonso that at some point he. Yeah, I mean, if I want to say under pressure, it's kind of hard for him to pull. And making him pull a big number that he has never hit before, it will make him crack. Like, we had to put that kind of option, I guess. So we've done these kind of battles. We went through these kind of battles, but I guess I'm happy I didn't pull 405.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I thought you were about to say, don't worry. Whatever you put on the bar, I'm going to miss it on my opener, but I'll go heavier on the second, and we're all right. Don't worry. The opener doesn't matter at this point. But when you miss the opener, I was also saying on the live stream, look, if somebody's like 10th, redo the same weight. But if you're gunning for gold, you can't.
Last year I was, I think 16th. I don't remember. I went from the first attempt, I was 15th or 14th. From the second attempt, I was first. So, yeah.
What a
I
big
guess that's
deadlift can do for you.
Yeah, that's nothing new for us. So I was very
Big Dev's like,
confident.
must be fucking nice, huh?
I mean, we were afraid of his deadlift. Like, not even only his bench. We were afraid of both of their deadlifts. But so we had to pull a one-time thing. We had to do something. And we knew after like the second attempt, the third attempt will be very close. So I knew that someone has to miss, so can someone win? So after like fighting over if it's 405 or 319, just accept the second, because Nonso of course will pull 410. Like, it was not that far on that day. He's very strong. Like, you cannot just say that he might not pull it. He will pull it. We know that. But like, we secured the second. I know that on the third attempt, I always put everything. Whatever it is, it's like a hard game for me. I know if I don't pull it, like, I'm in the wrong, you know? I cannot put myself in this kind of situation. So third attempt, we get it. I know that I had it. I just had to push, to pull. So I got it. I knew I had second place. And I said, congratulations, Nonso, on my head.
Really?
Yeah.
He said it out loud too. He walked out, was like, Nonso's gonna pull easy.
Yeah. I told
Really?
everybody, Nonso's like, I'm good with the second. But when... yeah, it was crazy.
Well, the attempt selection was good because by Lebanon, I don't remember the exact numbers now, but it's one of those, we got silver, phenomenal to get silver in a pack this strong. And if Nonso misses, you get gold. So you laid it the way you're supposed to.
It was
Like,
it was a safe thing to do.
It was the route you're supposed to do. Apply pressure. He misses, we're champ. He hits, we're silver. All right.
Yeah, it was
Can't be
good.
mad at that. So, Nonso, we started the podcast off with how horrific a scenario you ended up being with your hands cramping. Can't let go of the bar, but it's pulling your shoulder out. What happened here? How did you feel walking out for that deadlift? You know, it's all come down to it in a number that historically you probably should hit.
I remember, obviously I was out after Etienne, and Matt goes, if he misses, you're a world champ. If he gets this, you have to pull to win. And I didn't actually, all I saw was the 405 and the 415. So I thought it was 415 on the bar for me. I didn't know you pulled 390 and I pulled 400 or tried to pull 400. And so you hit it, and it wasn't even damn it. Like, I got excited. I was like, okay, this is what I've played out in my head so many times. It's like, it's going to come down to the last dead. It's going to be like everything you've got on it. And I went out, stayed calm like usual, and literally did my normal setup. And the minute I started pulling, I just felt my right shoulder go forward. But I was like, I didn't want to let go. I was like, I've been here before, open nats, and I've messed up. And I'm like, I didn't want that to happen. So keep on going. And obviously, the more you pull, the more you exert, the harder it gets. And everything just seized up. And like you said, fingers gave and shoulder was going, and I was kind of just stuck like in between.
Oh God!
And then come down, everything seized up, and it was kind of like like I've ended up in the same situation, and I didn't actually know what the number was until podium, and then it was 390, and that you did, and I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that it was 400, a number I've hit in training before, and it kind of like double sucks because it was like, damn it, that should have been like not an easy win, but it should have been like a given win. So yeah, very, very annoying moment, but that's what the sport's about, I guess.
When you were in the pool and you're like, damn, just don't let go. Your fingers are like, oh, don't worry. We ain't letting go of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, the irony of that. But it looked extremely painful because the spotters had to help you reopen your hands.
Yeah.
Like you were like this and they were still closing on you. How painful was it? Like it was all taking place live on the stream and the spotters are like literally trying to open your grip for you.
It was like probably the most excruciating pain I've ever been in. When I got to the back, thankfully on stage I was calm. When I got to the back, I was crying because of how much it hurt.
Yeah, I saw.
And I had like my hand against the wall on the left side, but then my chest was going, so I'd had to adjust, but then my tricep would go. And it's just like the minute I'm stopping one thing, another thing's going. All the while my shoulder's in so much pain, and I was just like, Carlina came over. Obviously, she's a doctor, checked me out, and she's like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Carlina, I feel like I'm dying. Like I'm in so much pain."
Yeah.
So it was painful, but it definitely like it's seared into my memory now.
When you went to the back, were you gonna go take a look at because there was medical teams in the back? Were you gonna go have them check you out real quick, or?
Yeah. So they came. Then we went to. They called an ambulance for me, and then I got in. But then I've forgotten her name now. A woman took me out and did an assessment because she's a doctor as well. And then she was like, "Okay, it's not like that bad. We'll just immobilize your shoulder for now. But when you get back to the UK, like get it checked out." So thankfully, it's not like the worst.
And for cramping, like they can just IV you, and you'll be all good. But you're not going onto the platform for the medal ceremony with an IV bag coming with you. It was freaking hot out there. It was tough. Yeah. The gentleman from Algeria obviously had an incident. I'm not entirely sure where he was, but like he was breathing when he left, and I've heard no further announcements since then. But it was tough. That was an extremely tough go around. You gentlemen showed a great amount of resolve. What is next for you guys? What's next for you, Nonso?
I'm nominated to do Junior Worlds, but me and James spoke, and I'm not going to do that. So probably take a couple months, try to grow that bench to catch up with these guys. Most likely open that end of year in December for me. I think James said there's like a small possibility I might get a wild card to Sheffield, but not banking on it. But if I do, I won't do open nats, but most likely open nats. And
how about for yourself, Big Dev?
Yeah, we talked about it on our last podcast. I think it's finally time for my Jonathan Keiko break. I think I'll be off for the next 7 or 8 months until Nationals next year. I'm going to try to get the knee fixed up, enjoy being a dad, and just get back to healthy so I can enjoy the sport again rather than just it being a chore. So I'm excited for it, honestly. That's the silver lining of losing is I get a break.
If you get the knee fixed up, not only return to your old squat, but surpass. You're a young guy. There's no reason why like chasing old PRs. Like you get that squat moving, obviously it's going to impact your deadlift. I think it's 100% a good idea. And you're right, like same thing with Keiko. A blessing in disguise, took a step back only to get a running step forward. How about yourself, Etienne? Is it Sheffield that's next?
I have World Games in August. Yeah, so it's a nice opportunity to go and something that it's done like 5 years. Every 5 years once.
4 years, but yeah, I got
4
you.
years, 4 years, yeah. I have World Games. After that, there's Nats in Lebanon. I'm going to join it just for fun, just for everybody there. After that, it's Sheffield.
How do you feel, because correct me if I'm wrong, you were the first open world champion for Lebanon.
Yeah, that is true.
And how do you feel being the first and what this does for Lebanon, the Powerlifting Federation, Lebanon, the people?
I hope it does something good for the for everybody. I hope it's something good. I did put my best for it, and I did say that this prep was not only for me but for everybody. A lot of people couldn't join or compete in Asia or juniors because of the war. So me going outside and competing and going to travel, it's like holding the globe above you. I don't
That's right. Yeah.
So I had this kind of pressure, knowing that I have to do it. Whatever happens, I had to do it. So I'm happy. I hope it was something great. So everybody can just like, yeah, it's time to compete. It's time to put our numbers on the platform. Not only in the gym or like nationals, like I mean an international platform.
And it is good you show up at nationals because there's going to be a lot of people there that want to see you now. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be exciting for you to be there. And this Worlds, we had the first world champion 93s from Bulgaria, had the first from Lebanon, and having these nations get a world champion, that's how it grows. First, you need a star to be in a great battle in both these 120s and 93s, phenomenal battles. And then you go home, you show up at nationals, people show up to see you. They compete like 2 days before, they'll hang around.
Yeah.
Etienne will be there. You know, that's where like, especially if you don't have to overly push yourself at nationals, you show up early, hang around, just be available.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Even though nationals in Lebanon is like it's not like if you win you get a card to like an invite to go to Worlds or anything. You just join just for the fun of it, just to compete. It's not like any other nationals. So yeah, it will be fun, just hanging around with everybody.
Gentlemen, you put on a great battle. I won't take any more of your time, but thank you for showing up. I know it's not easy showing up with no sleep, still running on caffeine from the day before and adrenaline, but phenomenal showing. And I do hope you guys have an opportunity to run this back because you guys pushed each other to the absolute limit, showed heart, showed grit, and a freaking phenomenal seesaw back and forth. Couldn't have asked for anything more. So congratulations to all you guys. Good luck in the future.
Thank
My
you.
man. And for everybody watching, this is the last one for
Keenan Lee at 11:30.
Oh, we got Keenan Lee at 11:30. Look at this, man. 13 of these freaking things. All right. Thank you for watching. As per usual, give us high ratings, likes, and please do subscribe. And until next time, Six Pack Lapadat.